All right, so we are live on my YouTube page, which means we're recording, and so we're going to go ahead and get started. And this is take two
All right,
of our vendor events training, how to have fun and successful vendor events training. My name is Jennifer Soto, and I'm so glad that you're here tonight. I thought I'd give a quick intro because most of you guys don't know me. And actually, let me put this on a speaker view. Yep. So, okay, it is on speaker view. Okay. So, okay. So sorry, playing with the views. Anyway, so my name is Jennifer Soto, and I've been with Pampered Chef for 27, going on 28 years. And I just love this business. My husband's retired, but I was a military spouse since I started this business. And so I had to use vendor events a lot to get my business started. And so I've had a lot of experience, and I've actually trained on this several times. And so I was excited to update this for 2025 and share with you guys tonight. So we'll go ahead and get started. And I'm going to put my focus on do not disturb, so we're not getting blinks and plinks as people are messaging me. So okay, so tonight we're talking about having fun and successful vendor events and booths. It is definitely the season for booths, but you can do them all year long. And I'm going to take you guys through all of the steps, from finding the event to following up afterwards. So if you're ready, say I'm ready, and let's go. Or you can type it in the chat. So give me a thumbs up, whatever. Okay, so first of all, we're going to start out by talking about why vendor events and booths are great for your business. So here are some of the reasons. First, they help you meet new people. You'll meet all kinds of people, even people who've never heard of Pampered Chef. When I first started my business back in 1998, I was always saying Pampered Chef is, and explaining. I don't have to do that so much anymore, but I definitely meet people at every booth who've never heard of Pampered Chef or never seen it or never touched it. It's a place where you can show off your products. People love to touch, see, and try out products. And this gets the products in their hands in a way that you can't do at a virtual party. And even sometimes at an in-person party, people are shy and don't want to touch your products, but it's so good to be able to share them, even having a demo station, or even taste, because sometimes you bring samples and let people taste. So you're able to generate sales right then and there. So when people go to a vendor event, they are in shopping mode. So you definitely want to take advantage of that. You also get to expand your network. And so by that, I mean, I'm not talking about your customer network. I'm talking about your peer network. You're going to get to network with other vendors. You're going to get to know them. That's going to help you to find future events. That's also going to help you. Actually, vendors are also your best customers, so let's not forget that. But it's going to help you as you're moving into finding other vendor events. I had a friend in Florida who she was great because she had a huge network. She had a Facebook group of all kinds of people who were vendors at events, and so we were always sharing what events were going on. Hey, I got this event, or hey, I got this going on, and it was just really fabulous collaboration for all of us. And when I moved there, I didn't know anybody, and meeting her at the first vendor event I did and getting into that group actually really helped propel my business to a really great, strong business while I was there. And I gave her like a big Pampered Chef present, a big stone or something like that, to say thank you for her connections. I was so appreciative. This also helps you to grow your contact list. So if you're trying to look for more people to text, more people to email, more people to stay in touch with, this is going to be a great source of people because you've got a lot of people going through your booth. And the last thing that this is that you're going to want to do is practice talking to people. So in 2025, we don't talk to a lot of people. We spend a lot of time texting and Facebooking, but we don't actually get out and talk to people. So this is going to give you the chance to practice your elevator speech, talk to people, find out what people are really thinking, and just kind of get in that mode so that you can do that more when you're out and about. I know I always terrify my husband when I talk to everybody in the store. He usually just walks away from me, but I'm good at it because I've done it a lot, and vendor events are a great way to get good at that. All right. So hopefully now you're convinced. Maybe you came here thinking, I don't know if I want to do them, but now you're convinced of why you need to do them. Let's talk about how you find them, because that can be kind of overwhelming and scary to think about. I like to say start with Facebook. It's the best place to start. You can go to the events page on from the main page of Facebook. You can go to the events page. On this page, you can see all of your upcoming events. You can also search for events. So there's a couple of different ways to search for events. The first one is once you're in the events area, scroll down and you'll see categories like events you might like, or popular events with friends, or food events. And there's also a category called recently announced. And you can look at those and see which ones will create opportunities for you and think outside the box. Somebody said they were doing an event at the YMCA. I think that's a great place to do an event. Also breweries. Here in Colorado, we do things at breweries. They've got things going on. And you might see a rummage sale, or you might see a sidewalk sale that you could join a part of. If you haven't searched out a lot of craft fairs and bazaars and networking events before, you may not see a lot in this area because it's highly dependent on the algorithm. The other place you can search is on the right. You'll see find events, and you can search by topic and by date. So start with the date that you're available to participate, and then look from there. And over there, there are several different events. You might look for food events, you might look for shopping events, that kind of thing. So remember that an opportunity and an event might not look exactly the way you're thinking about it. It might not exactly be a booth type event. You might see a fundraiser or a rummage sale, and this would also be a great opportunity for you. I love fundraisers because when somebody's doing a fundraiser, it's just a segue. When somebody's doing a fundraiser, that's a great place to reach out to them and say, hey, we do this, or get a part of that, take part of their organization, get to know that organization a little bit. But this is where you can find that. Other things you can do on Facebook is join groups on Facebook in areas that you would like to work. Maybe close by, the next town over, or the next community over. Look for postings about events in those areas. And you can even ask if anybody knows if anything's going on. Just remember, when you're in a group, that you need to adhere to any group rules and be respectful of that concerning sales. Sometimes they get really frowned upon when you have a salesperson coming in there looking for stuff. They're like, you're just looking in our group, which you might be, but be social and be a part of that group and add value to that group as well. Another way you can find groups is do a Google search. You can search vendor events near me, booths near me, craft fairs near me, all of those things, and see what's coming up. Also, festivals is another word that you can use. Eventbrite is another site. They have events listed sometimes, especially in bigger cities. And you can look at websites for local schools and churches, or clubs like sports clubs and things like that. They often hold events that are advertised on their website or on their Facebook page. The other thing you can do is, going back to the networking thing, reach out to other direct sales consultants. Ask them, hey, do you know of any booths that are going on? Are you signed up for any holiday bazaars or craft fairs or anything like that? And if they don't know of one, they might know somebody who's always doing booths. And the other thing you can do is create your own event. Get together with some of those other people that you know that sell things and have a market of your own. We do that every year at my house. We call it a holiday sip and shop, and I've done it since 2018, and it's just super fun. You can do it in your own home if you keep it kind of small, or you can rent out a space if you want to get a little bigger. So you're totally up to you. Okay, so now that you have all of these ideas for booths, you found all of these events, you need to get them scheduled. Okay, so here are some tips that are going to help you pick the booth that's right for you. There's lots of things to consider. And the first thing is that you need to manage your calendar. Now, managing your calendar is actually a key business skill. In general, we don't like to schedule things on our husband's and our children's birthday, or even on our own birthday. I've done that. I thought, oh, nobody cares about my birthday except for me. I'll just schedule a party. And my husband was like, what? So keep all of that stuff in mind. Make sure you've got important dates on your calendar, so you're not scheduling an event on the big soccer tournament day or something like that. I also don't like to have a lot going on the day before, and of course the day of. I have done events where I'm rushing off from the event to go to a football game or to go to something like that. That's just not my favorite preference. Those things usually come up after I schedule the event and I'm trying to fit everything in. But but look at your calendar to see when you can do that. Let's see, going back. I like to keep the day before open, because that way, if there's any last minute things I need to do, or printing, or new sales, or anything like that, stickering catalogs, that kind of thing, I've kind of got that space open for myself. And knowing what days I can do booths on, and I kind of having them open, when somebody calls me or a recommendation comes in, I'm able to say unequivocally yes. I don't really have to check my calendar. I don't have to rearrange anything. I can look at my calendar and say, yes, that date is open. Okay. The next thing you want to do is set your budget. How much are you willing to spend on an event? I typically limit my events to about 100 days or less for a 1-day event. Of course, some events are going to cost more if they're multi-day events, or if they're highly attended, like home shows. I also find that the location, if it's in an arena or a convention center, the cost is typically more. And I mentioned when I did this the other day that I updated this training from 2019, and this line actually said, I don't like to spend more than $50 for a 1-day event. So things have really escalated in the last 5 years. But I think $100, $75 to $100 is pretty standard for a 1-day event, especially at a school or things like that. A lot of times schools are using them as fundraisers as well, but they have high traffic. Okay, the next thing you want to do is find out more. You want to contact the coordinator to see if there is space in the booth, and to make sure that there is no other Pampered Chef person there. Ask how long they've been hosting this event, and if there's another vendor that they'd be willing to share information about, like share their contact information, so that you could chat with them about their experience. Ask about foot traffic. How many people do they have coming to their event? Ask how they're advertising. Are they just utilizing Facebook? Are they doing radio ads? Are they, how are they doing that? Do they have signs out in the neighborhood? That's a big one. A lot of people come to craft fairs and bazaars and things like that last minute because they saw a sign. Are they putting signs out in the local area? Be wary of somebody who is just selling vendor space. That's really common. People make a business of putting on these events, and they don't do the advertising. They don't do the justice to the vendors there. And that is not a good use of your time, unless you're just going to solicit to all the, 10 or 20 vendors that are there. So, all right. Other questions that you need to ask is, of course, if it's not in the application they give you or on the website, you want to know cost. You want to know if you can have electricity. Sometimes it's fun to have an electric product there. I don't ever pay. If I have to pay extra for electricity, I'm out. I don't do it. So you ask if it's indoors or out. Do you need to provide tables? How many years has this been going on? That kind of thing. The next thing that you want to make sure that you have ready when you for that event is get a copy of our liability certificate to provide with your application. A lot of them require that with the application, and even if they don't require it with the application, you definitely want to have it on site. Sometimes there's inspectors that come around and ask for it. It's free. We pay for it. That's what that $4 a month goes towards, and you can go ahead and do this early. It's very, very easy to do. I go in and apply for all my certificates for all my events once I book them. And you just go to Consultants Corner. You click on, you might want to write this down. All right. Go to Consultants Corner, click on My Account, and scroll down to Policies and Procedures. And it's in that little box there. It says Demonstrator Certificate of Insurance Request Form. And you need to have one for each booth. So I keep them in a binder, or they're going to email you after you complete that. It doesn't take very long, but they'll email you. And I keep that in a binder. So I have a binder that has my catalog in it and the price sheet. And I find that you don't have to write prices of everything. If somebody wants to know one price, you can look it up on your phone really quick, or you can flip to that thing. Because the prices are changing, I decided not to write them in my book, but I have a catalog that I took apart, and I put it in page protectors in a little 1/2-inch binder. In the back of that clear binder, I just have the demonstrator certificate. I have my license for the state of Colorado. Some states or cities require you to have a license. I think it's a scam, but I pay my $25 for 5 years to be able to exhibit at a booth. So I give my donation to the state of Colorado, so I can do that. But check and make sure that you're in compliance. You can ask the coordinator if they usually know if you need to have those things. So and then a lot of times they ask for tax things. We don't deal with tax stuff because we pay our tax when we buy our products from Pampered Chef. So that's typically, we don't have to add tax on. We don't have to pay tax to the state. Pampered Chef takes care of that. And most everybody knows that, and they don't bug you about that. So all right. So that is those two things that you want to have ready beforehand, because a lot of times they'll ask you to submit that. Some people will ask you to submit that with your application, especially bigger events. So, all right. So now you know why you want to have them. You've found some events. You've gotten them all signed up. You're in your budget. Everything's good to go. And I'm going to share some tips to make your venture, now that you've got all that, both fun and successful. Now, I was going to stick to 5. That was my original plan. And there's so many things that I couldn't stick to 5. So I'm going outside of those parameters. But the first thing is that you want to set your intention. Anytime you're doing anything, you want to be intentional about it. And a booth is not any different than anything else. You need to know what you want to get out of your booth before you even start to decide how you're going to do your setup. Are you looking for sales? Are you looking for bookings? Are you looking for recruit leads? Whatever it is, you need to decide. And then I would say, write that down. At my booth, I'm going to get 5 bookings, on the calendar. At my booth, I'm going to get 50 drawing slips, whatever, new contacts, whatever your goal is, write that down. And then setting your intention beforehand, it's going to force your mind and your body to act, and then you're going to end up getting the results you want. And that's really for anything, but in this instance, it drives how you set up your booth, what products you pick to take with you, and all of that good stuff. All right. The next thing is you're going to practice your setup before you go. Don't throw everything in a bag and show up and wonder if it's going to look okay. Go ahead and practice before you go, because you want your display to be clean and beautiful and everything. So, and there's nothing like forgetting how you set up once you get there. Or these things have happened to me, realizing that you have a middle booth as opposed to a corner booth like you had last year, or that you have a 10x6 booth instead of a 10x10 booth. Oops, that causes a problem when you have 2 6-foot tables, and a 4-foot table. You're like, how are you going to do that? So those things have actually happened to me. And that was just me not paying attention both times, because usually before the event, the coordinator is going to send you, here's where everybody's located. Here's your map, so that you know. I do take part in a couple of events that it's like first come, first serve. And believe me, I am there when they open the doors so I can have my pick of the spot. And so my neighborhood event is like that. I like to be the first one in the row. So this year I was second, so that's okay. Okay. So as far as your display is concerned, keep your display simple, clean, colorful, add some pops of color in there. Use a tablecloth that's long. And I see a lot of people in the for sale groups really being upset because they don't have a Pampered Chef logo tablecloth. And I'm going to tell you, you do not need a Pampered Chef logo tablecloth. When you guys look at my pictures, I have a document I'll share at the end, and I have some pictures in there. You'll see that I do have logo tablecloths, but I don't think you need them. I think if you have a black tablecloth that you put on there and you put some stuff out there, people are going to know, wear your apron, and people are going to know that you're Pampered Chef. I will tell you, my first tablecloths that I bought, I couldn't find what I wanted. I couldn't find black tablecloths that didn't have to be ironed. I don't iron, you guys. And so I see Stacy's face, like she's like, but I don't iron. And so I went to Joann's. I know there's no more Joann's, but I went to the fabric store and I got polyester pant material, like what you would make pants out of. And it said no wrinkle. And I bought, several lengths of that, had them cut it for me. And then I just serged the edges or hemmed the edges. I had a friend that had a serger, and I just serged the edges, but you can hem them, that's fine. So that's what I used for 20 years. I used those same black tablecloths, and I would add a pop of color to it. Maybe I would add an orange tablecloth in the fall, or a yellow tablecloth in the winter, in the spring or something like that, or add something to it to add that color. But that was my basis. And then they hung down, low in the front to mostly cover my stuff that was under my tables, because that's where I stored everything. So you want to set up, so even if you're not using branded items, you can set up an eye-catching display. Using colors like black and white and teal are perfect any time of the year. Using tiered displays. So maybe you're getting boxes, or I have these little small boxes that are about this big. They're about 8 inches tall. And when I take my stuff out of there, I turn them over and then I put stuff on top of them. Okay. You can put them under your tablecloths. You can put another like napkin or something over the top of it, that kind of thing. Keep it super easy. You can put crates. You can use crates to bring your stuff in, and then those serve double duty to make a little bit of height on your display. If you use signs like, why are you going to love this? You'll love this, or saves time or saves money, those kind of things. You can get those little signs to put on there. I love Dollar Tree for these kind of things. I go in the teacher section and find all kinds of stuff. Little chalkboards. They even have little sticky tabs, like, when you buy something and you pull it off and it's like just adhered with this little, they have this little sticky tab so you can stick stuff to it, and then you take the little thing off and throw it away. It doesn't leave any mark or anything. But get this for host price. Hosts pay $150, or whatever on whatever item. So I can't think of any off the top of my head, the exact prices, but you guys know I look up 60% off, or I take an item price times 0.4. Hosts pay this price. Hosts pay $140 for the deluxe coffee maker. Okay. And they're like, 140, that's a great deal for that thing. I was like, that's right. That's why our hosts love it. And then they go, oh, hosts. And then I have the opportunity to talk to them about hosting a party, because they love that item. Okay. So what should you bring? I say keep it simple. You don't need a lot. Remember your intention. Is it bookings? Then you need to bring power tools and other higher priced items. Is it orders? Then you need to bring things that people are going to order. The things that people love: cup slicer, cup zester, whisk tongs, those things that you're going to be able to sell a lot of. And also with orders, you're going to want to have an ordering station. Like, you're going to have it set up with the catalog and order form and a pen right there, so that they can easily, place their order or fill it out, or you have your tablet set up. My rule of thumb for products that I bring is I like to bring stuff from the starter kit, the catchy, fun stuff from the starter kit. I like to bring things that are new. So if you have new products, those are always good to bring. They're eye-catching. If we have products on sale, like the last two, I had the Rapid Prep and the Food Chopper out there because they were on sale. This week, I will be having all the stoneware stuff that's on sale. And then as many power tools as I can manage on my table. So, or you have. So I did something a little bit different with my display this year. I bought, because I wanted to really, really go for bookings. That was my focus this year. So I bought two aluminum shelves. They're 5 feet tall. They have like 4 or 5 shelves on them. And I brought everything but the air fryer, like at Power Tools. And the whole purpose of that is so that I can talk about it. People are like, what? I've never seen this with Pampered Chef. And I can talk about it, and I can encourage them to host their own show to get that at a discount. And so that was my intention. That was my focus. And that was what I decided to bring. If you don't have a lot of that stuff, stick to your kit. Everybody got a kit. Even that little heart kit, bring the heart kit. Maybe order some catalogs or some minis, that kind of thing. And also, old catalogs are gold. I always bring old catalogs. That's all I hand out, unless they make a purchase or they book a party. Okay. So, the other thing is to wear your apron. This is way more eye-catching than logo wear, and it really sets you apart from the other vendors and the shoppers. So I'm telling you guys, use the stuff you already have. Don't go out and buy a whole bunch of new stuff. The other thing that's great about aprons is they have pockets. We all love pockets. Like, if we have a dress that has pockets, we're sure to tell everybody. But in your pockets, you can store drawing slips and pens and mini catalogs and even money, if you need to. Your little square thing, your phone, all that stuff is right there, super handy. You also want to make your display interactive. Have some products that they can try. Good products for that are like the Rapid Prep Mandolin, the Cup Slicer, the Food Chopper, the Cup Zester, and the Pepper Core. I like to use cucumbers because they can be used for just about any of those products. Like you can demo any of those products using a cucumber, but they also smell good. So then your booth smells good, and they don't turn brown, and they can just be used in so many different ways. So that's a good one. And they're also very inexpensive. So that is a good way to make it interactive. All right. And then you want to have a drawing or a giveaway. This is so that you can capture information with the people you talk to. I do a drawing for something small and mailable, like a small mini skinny scraper or something small like that, a taste buds packet, something that can easily be mailed. I tell people, oh, you don't have to be present to win. I'll send it to you. That way I can pick however many winners I want or whatever. I don't have to draw while a crowd is standing around me. That feels weird. So when they ask me what the drawing is for, I say, I haven't decided. Why don't you write something that you would love on the back of your survey slip? And that might be what I pick. Okay. I'll see if I have one on hand when I pull your name, we have lots of options for collecting those drawing slips today. I personally just go with pen and paper. It's easiest, it's fastest, what people are familiar with. And if you want to have a drawing slip, there's several on the vendors Facebook page. Pampered Chef vendors Facebook page. I'll share the link with you guys, but there's several examples there of things you can do. Tiffany Foreman posted a Canva that you can change, and it has a really great drawing slip on the back page, the last page. So when you look at it, it's like, what kind of show do you want to have? But click on that, go to Canva. Even if you don't print those flyers, use that drawing slip. It's really great. I think there's not a category on there, but I added it to mine that says, I'm just here for the prize. So at least it gets them checking something. I know if they read the drawing slip or not, because if they only want the prize, they're going to check on there. I'm just here for the prize. So, but you can also do a keyword. If you have Project Broadcast, you can do a keyword, or Connection Point, you can do a keyword and then text them back some kind of online drawing slip. There's lots of different things. You can talk with your leader and find out what works best for you. But like I said, I find that good old pen and paper works best for me. So another thing is that you want to start conversations. Don't wait for them. I was at a booth this past weekend, and there was a dad and his son there, and they had these beautiful laser cut Christmas trees and all kinds of stuff over there. They were so gorgeous, but they were like this on their phone the whole time, and nobody was stopping because it looked like they were busy and engaged in something else. So put your phone away, stand up, greet people. Hey, how's it going? Have you ever heard of Pampered Chef? Like, I am talking to everybody who's walking by, and some people ignore me. Some people put their head down and keep walking. Totally fine. They're not my person anyways. And so I don't care. But there's people who might have walked by that are now going to stop and talk to me because I am talking to them and interacting with them. Some questions that you might like is, hey, do you love to cook? Do you like quick and fast cooking, or do you like to take your time and have those flavors simmer? Are you familiar with Pampered Chef? Have you ever been to a Pampered Chef party before? When was the last time you went to a Pampered Chef party? And so anytime they say, oh, I already have a Pampered Chef consultant, I always say, that's awesome. What's their name? Because for two reasons. One, if they don't know their name, that's not really their Pampered Chef consultant. Okay. And so I kind of feel like I have permission to continue talking, but a lot of times they know their name, and I'll be like, oh, I know them. I love them. They're so great. Or if you don't know them, then you can say, oh, that's great. I'm so glad you have somebody. When was the last time you went to a Pampered Chef party? You can still engage with them and talk to them. And then I usually will send them to their consultant, even if they fill out a drawing slip, I write on there, so-and-so's consultant, so-and-so's customer. So, but you definitely want to talk to people. If you're asking them questions, you're going to be able to figure out if they're a potential host or a shopper, or if they might even be a potential consultant. Plus, people love to talk about themselves. They just really do. So show up ready for social media. You maybe want to take some behind the scenes. It's a great time to take some behind the scenes pictures while you're getting ready or while you're setting up, while you're there talking to people. Go live, show the event, tell people how to get there, tell people where to park, anything they need to know. That's kind of fun. And then even afterwards, you can go ahead and post some pictures of the event. And the last thing about being at your event is not to eat at your booth. Okay. Sometimes these are really long days and we think, oh, we're so hungry, we want to eat at the booth. Or there's great food trucks at this event. I love this food truck. I want to eat there. But don't try and steal away for your snacks. Definitely wait for a lull and then kind of try to steal away. Sometimes large events will have somebody who's going to sit down with you, or who will sit at your booth while you run to the restroom to grab a bite to eat. And this is another great reason to get to know the other vendors, because I know that I've come back from the restroom to hearing the vendor next door talk about one of my products, parroting exactly what I said to somebody who wandered into my booth. And so when you have that kind of trust and that relationship, that really makes it great. And I know I would do the same for them. All right. I know that was a lot. So one last portion of this that is really, really important, and that is the follow-up. So if you're going to take time to do the event, you want it to be worth your while. And in our business, there's a saying that I'm sure you've heard: the fortune is in the follow-up. And nowhere is that more true than with the contacts and leads that you get from an event. If you're out there and you're getting a lot of contacts, even if I did an event this weekend and I had 10 contacts, but 8 of them were good contacts because I had talked to them. They want to do parties. And they live in my neighborhood. So that was really great. So at first I was like, oh, I only got 10 contacts, but then I realized I had 8 good, solid, strong leads. That's like a party, that's like going to a party. And then I sold a bunch too, but it was a good event from that. So, and I've already been talking to some of those people. That event was Saturday. We've already got a party booked and working on those things. So you want to reach out within 48 hours. And I would actually say 24 is better. No more than 48, 24 is better. What if you did an event 2 weeks ago and you haven't reached out to anybody? Late is better than never. One time I had an event and it was like a month after I reached out to everybody. I was like, well, I promised you I would send you a thank you for stopping by my booth, and better late than never. So, and I just made a joke about it and sent it on, and nobody was offended. Nobody was upset. I actually didn't get any stops from that. They thought it was funny. I was like, life just lifes, and sometimes it does, but really set aside some time the day after your event to reach out to people. They just met you. You're fresh in their mind. You can send a quick text message that says, hey, it was so fun meeting you at the event. Thanks for stopping by my booth, my Pampered Chef booth. I wanted to let you know I'll be doing the drawing for the giveaway soon, but I don't want you to miss out on fun ways to shop or host. Are you more of a shopper or a free stuff kind of person? And asking that question gets that conversation started. And it doesn't feel pushy at all or weird. I always, speaking of the giveaway, I always announce my winner publicly. I usually do it on my Facebook page. I'll pull the drawing, I'll pull the name, or I'll post the name. And I often tell them in my first message, hey, make sure you're following my Facebook page so that you can see who the winner is. You can say something like, thanks to everyone who stopped by my booth. Congrats to so-and-so for snagging the giveaway. And if you didn't win, don't worry. I've got a surprise perk for everybody who entered. Then you can send another message with an e-cookbook or a tip sheet or whatever your little lead magnet or your little giveaway or your perk is going to be. Be sure that you do message your non-winners because that is that opportunity for conversation. And you can always do like the everybody wins, offer an upgrade to what you're giving them when they host their own party. Okay, so with all those leads you get, you definitely want to categorize them, go through your entry forms and sort them into 3 buckets. Who are your future hosts? Who are your future customers? Who are your future recruits? Who are the people that are just here for the prize? Put those in the trash. So you don't need to follow. I mean, you followed up with them twice. You're not going to follow up with them again. So I do those initial 2 follow-ups with everybody. And then I do a more personalized ones that people that are interested in shows. And I was like, hey, I know we talked about hosting a party. Had you given it any more thought? Is October or November going to be better for you? That kind of a thing. Add these people to your contact list. I always have a box on there that says add me to, keep in touch with me. So you can add those people to your contact list, and or you can ask them if they'd like to add. And then the last thing is track it. Actually, the second to last thing is track it. I have a spreadsheet with tabs for each event that I do. The columns, I'm going to show it to you so you'll be able to see the columns, their name, email, phone number, host, opportunity, added to, connection point, ordered, cash and carry, sent reminder, booked, and then notes. You can even add info about how much your space costs, any details you want to remember about the event. This will help you know if the event is worth doing again. I am going to share the link for a clean copy of that. Yesterday, I shared a not clean copy, and that's why we're recording this again. So I'm going to share a clean, I'll show you guys a copy of it so that you can kind of see. All you have to do, I'll share the link with you. You can make a copy of that and use it for yourself. It's actually very, very helpful for tracking. You can go back year after year and invite those people to your future events. You can stay in touch with them, make sure that nothing falls through the cracks. And so the last thing is just to keep the connection alive. Follow up if they don't book or buy right away. Check in with a few weeks later with something personal. If you made notes on them, hey, I know you were looking for cookware. We just announced some new cookware. Or I know you had a dog at the event because it was an outdoor event. Hey, I wanted to let you know we have this new dog treats thing that's coming out. So that kind of thing to keep them excited and stay in touch. But that's it. So I'm going to show you the spreadsheet and then I'll answer questions. Okay. So let me share the spreadsheet. It's all ready to share with you guys. I'm already not like I was yesterday. Okay. So here is the clean spreadsheet with no names or phone numbers. And I updated it. So it has a place where you can write your event name, your location, who the coordinator was and their contact information. Any notes you want to write on it. How much did it cost? What booth were you in last year? That kind of thing. Any notes there? It was really slow on Sunday. So maybe you only want to do Saturday the next year, that kind of thing. And then here's where you're going to put your contacts in here, their first name, last name, email, phone number, blah, 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 all that stuff. Keep your notes here. And down here at the bottom, I have 4 pages already set up. So you can have 4 events. If you don't know how to create a new page, you just click down here and you say, duplicate, and it'll duplicate that page. Okay. The other thing I have on here are import templates for Project Broadcast and for Pampered Chef. So you can cut and paste those people over here so that you can import them into your contacts in Pampered Chef in your consultant connection area. So in your contact area on your PWS. So if that's what you're using to keep track of your people. So I have that just there. So it's super easy for you. But okay, I think that's that. Let me look at here and see what questions we have. Let me go back to the beginning. Okay. It says, oh, these are no, I even have the notes from yesterday because I used the same event. So it says, do you make notes to keep track of the convo after they leave? Yes, I do it on the spreadsheet. Does cash and carry cancel the warranty? Somebody asked about that yesterday. And I just tell them, since you would have to track the warranty, it doesn't cancel it, but you would have to track it. I say, these things are as is. So, because I'm not going to track it. So, printable drawing slips are available on the Facebook page. And here's that Facebook group. I'll go ahead and post this in the chat right now. Okay. And what's after policy and procedures, the demonstrator certificate section option under that section? Yes. Somebody answered that question. Okay. I'm trying to gain bookings. So I was hoping to make a sign that says everyone is a winner. Text your name too, then make a gift, an e-cookbook, but would offer to upgrade if they host a party. Would that be okay? Yeah, I mean, I would definitely do something like that. I mean, you got to keep it really simple. So you can say everybody's a winner. Text Jennifer to this number and you'll get a prize. And then you can have that set up. You can have your follow-up set up with the everybody wins, hey, I'd like to offer you a cookbook, an e-cookbook. But if you'd like to upgrade, if you book your own party, what do you think? You can send that to them as the automated response, or you can send it, when you get home, you can send those. If you don't have like Project Broadcast, we can set up keywords, but definitely do that. And then I would use the event, the word that you're going to use, maybe something that has to do with the event you're doing so that you remember what event they are. Okay. I like the questions you suggested for conversation starter, talking to people who are walking by your booth. Those are helpful for conversation in general. And when you tell people you're a Pampered Chef consultant, I 100% agree. 100%. I'm going to share I'll share the document. I'm going to put it in the YouTube description. I'll share it right here. If you guys can't wait till I get that updated. This has notes from this event with the words that I posted. And one thing I didn't say, I don't know why I didn't say it. I must have skipped it over. When you have follow-up conversations with people, there are message templates on Consultant Corner. You just use those. They're so good. So, okay. Any other questions? Any other questions? We covered everything? Very good. All right. We went a little bit long. I don't know why. I said exactly the same thing as I said last time. So, okay. Oh, one new. Let's see. So good. Okay, great. Christy, I'm glad you liked it. I hope you guys got some great information. Feel free to message me or whatever if you have any other questions. There's so many resources out there. You can talk to your leader. That document has a bunch of pictures. They're all my pictures. Some of them are old. You'll be able to tell which ones are old. They're at the bottom. But I wanted to show you guys some single table setups and how my events have grown. My intention is changed since I was doing events when I'm moving around and stuff. And I've been established here and I'm doing events multiple times in a row. So my intention has changed a little bit. So that's why intention is so important with helping you to decide how you're going to set up your booth. So all right, guys, if that's it, if nobody has any more questions, thank you so much for joining me for take 2. And we'll see you next time. Bye.